Hello and welcome back to episode 2 of Learning to Streetluge. I'm Streetluge racer Will Stephenson, and in this episode I'll be covering pushing and how to get a really good start off the line. A rider starts by sitting on their board upright and using their hands and arms to propel themselves forward and then lying down into the supine position. I'm going to break down my push and drop in a few other hints and tips of what I've learnt over the years, and also include what a few other top racers do as well. Having a good push and a good start is important, as you might not be able to win a race with a good push, but you can certainly lose a race by having a terrible push. I sit as far forward in my pan as possible, with my feet just over shoulder width apart, and knees slightly bent, and with my hands in a light fist just in front of my hips. By having my hands in this placement here, I actually get better traction and prevents my hands from slipping and losing those valuable centimetres off the start. As the buzzer goes, I'll use my right heel to pull myself forward, at the same time using both hands to push myself forward from that hip position, just getting as much torque off the line as possible. And then after a few hits on the ground with my knuckles as I pull myself forward, still keep my hand in that fist position, I'll then turn it 90 degrees to get a little bit more speed, and then at the very end I'll do 2 or 3 open palmed pushes. A word of caution about using your heel to pull yourself forward. This is a very high risk tactic, as you can end up getting your foot caught in front of your board and it will end up stalling you and slowing you down. Then you've got to start your push again, and by then you've lost anything that you've gained. So it's a very high risk move for not much gain. Eventually you're going to have to decide on when to stop pushing. This is quite difficult to gauge, as each hill is different and it's got different gradients and different characteristics, but if you end up pushing too long, you might in fact end up slowing yourself down for a straight, for example. At most tracks I need to do around about 11 pushes. It's a little bit less and a little bit more for varying tracks, like for example Korea was 9 and the World Roller Games was 14, so I always try and train for 11 to 14 pushes, so I've always got an extra 2 in the tank in case I need it off the start. Some events have start gates or start ramps, and this is an example where you have to modify your riding style slightly. So with the handles you can grip them so you don't have to worry about your hands slipping on the ground, so now you can reach all the way forward and get as maximum amount of throw as possible to launch yourself forward. And then you have to adjust your push because it might be slightly different to what you're used to with no handle grips. To start a race, there's 2 different methods that's used. There's the endo starter and the snapline method. This is the endo starter. And the snapline method is a piece of elastic or rubber stretched across the track, and the starter holds it in his hand and gives the orders: racers ready, racers set, and then between 1 and 5 seconds he will then randomly let go of the elastic and it will shoot across the road. Now there's not much that you can do to gauge when the start is going to be on the endo starter, but there's a little tip and a little hint that I use for the snapline method. Instead of looking at the snapline directly in front of myself, I look off to the side and I go when the starter's hand moves. It's not that much of a difference, but it can give you a little bit of an edge on the start. And that wraps up this episode about pushing. Just remember to get lots of practice in doing this, and if anyone else does a slightly different technique or has any other pointers, then please comment below. I'd love to hear from you. And if you've got any other questions or queries, please put them in the comments below or send me a message. Don't forget to share and like this video, and also add me on your social media, which would be great so you can stay up to date with any new videos I do. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you on the hill soon.